Hey, this is Don from Padlock Technology again with another video. This time, got a question on TACACS with FortiGate firewalls. Can you do that? The answer, simple answer is yes, you can. Now, there is one thing that Fortinet needs to fix because I didn't like when I set this up that I had to do a certain thing because I'm like, if it's in the, like, make a menu for it, man. But I'm going to show you what I talk about when we go into the lab, and then I'm going to show you the ISE side, and then we're going to test this out. I'm going to log out and then log back in. I'm already logged into it as myself already, but I'm going to log out and log back in so you can see it, so you can see the actual TACACS live logs. So let's get in the lab and let's look at it. All right, so y'all have seen this lab before. This is not the SD-WAN lab this time. This is my, firewall lab with all the stuff that I got in here. Got a couple things turned off, but we're mainly focused on DC Fortinet 1 right here. We're mainly focused on this one, all right? So when I go over to Forti, when I log in here, you can see up in the, well, you probably can't see, but you see my name up here in the right-hand corner. I am logged in as this user. Now, if we go to our administrators, you will see that I did not create that user account. So this is coming from ISE. Now, when I said there is something about um, TACACS and FortiGate that I did not like, very simple. There is no GUI menu to turn this on. Now, I don't know if this is in future versions. I think I'm using version 7.4 or something. But there is no like checkbox that you can say, okay, I'm just going to turn on TACACS. You actually have to enable it in the CLI first, and then it shows up in the menu. Fortinet, I need you to fix that, right? Just give me if I'm going to do everything through the GUI for the most part, just give me a toggle button that says TACACS so that it shows up on the left-hand side. And what do I mean by that? Well, as you can see in the user authentication, normally what you're going to see is LDAP, radius, single sign-on, and authentication session. But Don, you may be asking, why do I see TACACS servers? That's because I enabled it through the CLI. So let's roll up into the CLI real quick, and I'll show you exactly what I did to get this button, this menu to show up. So I'm going to show user TACACS. TACACS plus actually is what you gotta put. So that is the configuration that you need to put in to enable that menu, right? So what you got to do is go configure user TACACS. Then you got to give it a name, edit TACACS name, kind of similar to Juniper, isn't it? And then you set all your values here, right? You set all your values here. And once you do that, now obviously the key is going to be encrypted. This is server number 1. This is my secondary server number 2. I'm going to set the authentication type to ASCII. You can do PAT, but why would you? Just do AXI. Yeah, actually, I always say that name wrong. And then you do authorization enable, and then you give the source IP, right? This is coming from my internal interface. But once you set this up, we can exit out of this. Once you set this up, this menu will pop up out of nowhere, right? And this is why I'm saying, like, come on, Fortinet, just give me a, feature visibility, enable TACACS, toggle button, boom, and then this menu shows up. Just give me that. Then you hit this TACACS server, and as you can see, all of this pretty much is what I configured. So if I go in here, pretty much the same thing, right? Pretty much. Now, once that's done, my face there. Then you go to your user group and you got to create a firewall group that maps to the TACACS server. So you go to your user group. Here's my TACACS group. I made it type firewall, and then I use remote server TACACS, the same one I just showed you that I created. Now that's all done. Next step is we need to start looking at systems. So you're not even, once you got the group and the TACACS, you're pretty much out of this. And then you go to your system, and now we're going to mess around with profiles first. Now, I didn't mess around with this. I'm just going to use the built-in one, which is super admin. But if I wanted to, you would go and create a new profile, and then you could just do read write. And if you're a help desk person, you might want to only give them read to this. And if you're like we'll do right now. Now, I'm not going to create a user for it, but let's just call it, let's say help desk. And all I'm going to do is set the permissions to read. Now, I do like that, the fact that I could just read for everything, right? and permits uses for, yeah, we'll do that. So now, if I wanted to, I can create one called, you know what, I'm going to create one in ICE just to reference this when I show you the ICE part. So now we have super admin, we got help desk. Now we go to administrators and we create this fake user. I'm going to show you what this is. We're going to create a fake user. I just said FortiAdmin. Now I'm going to say match all users in the remote group, right? Well, users group. If I did match user on the remote server group, I would have to have an account called FortiAdmin. But since I want to match any user, because I'm going to do a condition that says if they're in the network admin group, do this, then I need to do this second option, and then I select the TACACS group. And that's pretty much it from the Fortinet side. So now we are going to go into the ICE side here. Let me slam into this server. And from the ICE side, we're pretty much going to go to workstation, and then we have our policy elements. And I might need to expand this just a little bit so you guys can see here. And then we're going to go to our results. And then what we're really worrying about is TACACS profile. Now the TACACS profile, I got FortiAdmin here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this so you can see what I do for help desk. So we're going to say, boom, take this out of here. And then I'm going to say help desk if my fingers stop doing what they're doing so I can type. Now, the key to this is you want to do generic, and then these are the mandatory things that you need to put in. So in this one, I have mandatory service FortiGate. And then the next one, I have mandatory admin profile. So that matches admin profile that I just created. Now, in ICE, it has to be admin-prof. You can't put profile in there. So let's go and edit this. And we gave it the name help desk. I'm going to actually do that. Boom. Now we're in there. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this out the way because I'm going to actually create a help desk like user group so I can match it. So we're in here. Let's, I think something is going on with AD because it's giving me this spinny thing, and I don't like the spinnies. All right, let's just log into this. I might have to reboot that AD server. It's giving me the red ring of death for my old Xbox heads. You know what that is. Yeah. So let's go here. I'm going to create a group called help desk. Then I'm going to have to pull that AD group into ICE, and then we'll create a policy on that whenever, my lab stops labbing right now. And what I mean by that, sometimes my lab will, I'm using a lot of resources on it, and sometimes it'll just freeze up or it won't take a click button. So, when those labs, I'm not installing an update. Here we go again. Like I said, when the labs start labbing, it doesn't want to play nice with me. I have to do this. So let's create a group. Let's just call it help desk right now, and I'll just do uppercase, bang. All right, and then I'm going to create a user. Help desk, help, last name desk, help, desk. This is probably the worst password known to man, or worst account known to man. So we're just going to create one. All right, that's there. Here we go. It's starting to do the spinnies. There we go. So now let's go into help desk, and we'll add that member. And as you can see, for anybody out here, this is the stuff that you need to do when you have network access control. You're using AD. You need to make sure all this stuff is set up correctly, or you will have problems. All right, so we got that. Yeah, network access control is not a one person thing. Let me not say one man, because I can't forget the ladies out there that are network admins. I love to see that as well, because everybody think IT is just a man's game. No, some pretty smart women out there too, man. I met a lot of them there. There's some women that could run circles around some of the guys I've seen. And as we're going through this, let's go to groups. And let's add the help desk group here. I'll do it from directory. I'm just going to do a retrieval because I don't feel like doing anything else. Being highly lazy right now with the network access control administration. So let's find help desk. You are somewhere up there. Now there is a sync. There is some timing with ICE where you create an ID and the group doesn't automatically show up. So, and there it is. So I'm gonna grab that. All right, save it. And now we are going to go to our device administration and create said role. So we already did the policy element. Let's go to device administration. I'm using the default right now because most people just use the default. But you can create your own policies if you want. We are going to scroll down, and I already have one. So instead of doing all the nonsense here, we're just going to duplicate it. And we're going to change the profile to the help desk profile. And then we're going to change the group to get that out of there. Get that out of there, buddy. Come on. I do not want admins. There we go. Help desk. And obviously, we need to change the name. Help desk. We should be good to go. We're giving the, wait a minute. Let's make sure that's right. Help desk profile, which is correct. We're going to save it. Now we're going to go back to the 40. I'm going to log out as myself since I'm in the admin group. And we're going to do help.desk. Hopefully I didn't fat finger this password. Bang, we are in here. So now you can see I'm in as the help desk. Pretty much got read only. Let's verify that now. Oh, I don't know. I'm in there, but it's read only. Can I don't know. Let me see if I can create a zone. Don't know why that showed up over there, but let's see if I can create a zone. Now, we will also need to see from a system standpoint. Let's just make sure the admin profile for help desk actually is read only. All right, read. All right, so let's see. Let's test it out. They haven't done it. Help. I didn't create a new profile, so let's go to zone. Not really feeling that. So we're gonna have to see why it's in there. See if I can delete it. Because technically, if I'm getting read access, I shouldn't be able to do any of this. All right, well, let's look at what got pushed because I could have not gave it the right one. So we're going to go to policy, not policy, operations, TACACS live logs. Let's see what we got here. All right, I was authorized for help desk. So let's look at the policy element there, and let's make sure that that was correct. So results, profile, and you guys get to see this live, so let's look at this. Yep, should be mandatory. Should be getting the help desk profile. So this should be good. You know what? Let's do this. And I'm gonna log out again. And I want to see what you get here. Now, if this is still giving me an issue, we're gonna have to see what the heck is going on here. Because technically, I shouldn't be getting access to none of this. All right. All right. Well, I'm gonna set this back to read. And I may need to do a little bit of troubleshooting on this to see why this profile is not, it might be a licensing thing too. Now that I think about it, because it may be, and like I said, it may be because I got super admin going on. All right, technically this is all correct here. We just got to figure out why this, wait a minute, hold on. I think I know what's going on. Let me check my user group. All right, we're good with this. That's fine. TACACS server is fine. So from a authenticate, from a TACACS standpoint, that's working. I just don't think it likes my. Let me see what this is. Yeah, I don't think it likes my actual profile here. Yeah, because if I can start configuring stuff, yeah, if I can start configuring stuff as help desk, that means it took the profile, but it's still giving me somewhat some access control. So I got to see. Technically, this shouldn't be giving me. I should only be able to read the stuff. I shouldn't be able to actually configure anything. So why it's doing it, don't really know. But I would not be surprised if I got to reboot the Fortinet to do that. But I'm not going to waste your guys' time with that. I just wanted to show you that you can do TACACS. Now, the fact that this wasn't working, I'm not like these other, you know, YouTubers that show you everything work all the time. As you can see, I configured it. It's in ICE. It's working. I can at least log into it, but it's not accepting the profile. So what I'm going to do, so, not everything works. I'm not perfect all the time. But what I'm going to do is see what is going on with the profile at least, and then I might do an update video to show you exactly what went wrong. So anyway, main point of this was showing you that you can do TACACS with ICE with FortiGate. Unfortunately, just the help desk profile that I randomly just created did not take. So I'm going to figure out what's going on with there. If you like this video, even though the help desk profile did not work, if you like this video and you got some value out of it, please don't forget to share, comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. I'm getting, subscribers every day. I appreciate it. And doesn't cost you anything but a click of a button. This is Don from Padlock Technologies again. Thank you and have a nice day.
A few minutes later.
Hey, just figured it out. This is going to be continuation of the other video. We saw that the admin stuff was working, but the reason why the HD, the help desk stuff wasn't working, I had to add configuration, basically clone the configuration and then apply the help desk profile. So again, like I said, that was live raw doing it. So not everything's going to work the first time out. So don't get discouraged. Any network engineer that thinks that everything has to be perfect the first time. It's not about getting it right the first time. It's about getting it right eventually, right? So you need to be able to figure out things pretty fast. So let's get to what actually happened here. So two things I had to do, which again, I think this is kind of annoying, FortiGate, if I have to do this, right? But it is what it is. So what I had to do is create a brand new TACACS server, which basically cloned the other ones that I was using. Then I had to create a brand new group for the same TACACS server, just called it HD, and that was done. Then I had to go to system. Now I did adjust the admin profile a little bit. I just said, the help desk profile. I just said help underscore desk. I don't think that really mattered, right? Then I had to go to administrator, create a different administrator called 40 help desk, right? And then I had to attach it to the group, the clone group, instead of using the same group that I was always using. So again, be careful of that when you're doing this. I wish Fortinet didn't do that, but it is what it is. So now I'm gonna show you the difference. Now that that's all done, the TACACS policy and ICE is still the same. Nothing changed. Now, as you can see, I can edit stuff, right? It has the edit button, integrate, stuff like that. Now remember, this wasn't working last time when I did the help desk profile. But now that I made those changes, and I can't believe I remembered it right after I ended the last video. So we're gonna log in here, same dashboard, but let's watch the difference here this time. So when I go to network, go to interfaces, that was just working. It just went on like that had view. Okay. So what happened here? Because I literally just did this and it showed maybe because I did something in the admin profile that caused this to mess up. There we go. For some reason, I I must have when I went into the admin profile and made it tricked it or some nonsense like that. But as you can see, now I got view now, which is what I'm supposed to get because I only got read only. Shouldn't have messed with the profile originally, but now you just saw that it broke and then it went back up. So now I have view. Everything is view here. I can't do anything, right? I can't edit anything, nothing, right? And all that's because I made those changes. If I go to the CLI and I try, let me see what the CLI does. Let me go configure system interface and see what happens. Can't do it, which is exactly what I wanted to do in the first place. Actually, but let me just validate that we can do show commands. So let's go show system interface. I think I'm port 3. There we go. So I can still do show commands, but if I go configure system interface, can't do it, right? Because I'm not allowed to do it because I have the admin profile. I'm not the admin profile, the help desk profile, which this should have done in the first place. Again, the lab was labbing, like I said. Um, Now, from a system standpoint, if I go to administrator, as you can see, really can't do jack. And now you see that little man right there is showing you I'm actually logged in with the help desk and I have the help desk profile, which I was trying to do in the first one. I had basically cloned it to get this to work. So again, not everything works the first time out. Figure it out and jump back on. This is Don from Padlock Technologies with a little update on what happened. Hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you and have a nice day.